satisfaction maybe with the traditional site. The traditional site wasn't necessarily settled on because of any archaeological or necessarily historical reason. Never questioned though until the 1800s, and there were actually 2 or 3 spots around northern, mostly northern Jerusalem. One actually was in the southern part, but that were considered perhaps as more fitting with the biblical story. So this place came essentially to the front for a couple of reasons. Just to begin with, there were just people who felt that this north part of the city did seem to fit the story better, and I'll share with you a couple of reasons. But then, so let's note. So one thing is the appearance of, in the face of this outcropping here, the appearance of the face of a skull. But now when you look at that, and I don't know how you are, but I was here yesterday, so when I look at it, I say it's not quite as clear as it was yesterday. Let me show you what it looked like yesterday. Basically, either of those pictures, but the picture on the left maybe particularly. Yeah. Now you can see a bit more of a skull face. That's all right. You hang in here. I got a better picture than this in a minute. But I'll show you this one just for starters. Now, when you look over there, you see where there had been the bridge of a nose between the two sides of that cave on the right. Look straight down to the bottom. You see
the nose is down there.
So the bridge of the nose. Right? I can do that.
Needs to get a nose job.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Now I promised you, I think, a better picture. I got 2 copies of this one. I'll pass it around. Here's the other copy. When you get a hold of this one, this picture was taken in 1900. None of the bus station, none of the other buildings are around here. Find the skull face in the background. All right, and I think you'll see more of what we're talking about. So when I say a skull face, what do we know about the place of crucifixion? It had something to do with the skull. And so the Bible doesn't say necessarily that it looked like one, but it had that name, place of a skull. So, and immediately, the question is, well, how much could it have changed over, 2,000 years? So, and we don't have any pictures from 2,000 years ago. So let's talk about the area. So traditionally, this is the area where it is believed that Stephen was stoned, his martyrdom. The thought that there were executions up in this area, so it fits Jewish tradition. We are in a place that's outside the city, so actually, let me use this map. You can see city walls right over there, but we're right here. Skull Hill is what it's called, okay? And the brown line, those are the walls in Jesus' day, and you notice that they match the line that comes out here for the walls today. So we're in a place that in Jesus' day was outside the city, all right? You can faintly see, if you were to look closely, there's a road that goes in between. Have you been to the Israeli Museum?
No.
There's a 150th model of the city of Jerusalem in Jesus' day. And it'll have this outcropping. It'll show you a road that went past there. The road may have had a connection with Jericho, in which case that would make it a fairly busy road just by itself, because coming from Jericho was the primary way that people from up north came to Jerusalem. But then it was Passover time, and so all the roads in Jerusalem were busy at Passover time. So the Bible just says many people passed by. And they were close enough to where you could hear the things they were saying, the ridicule and the mocking. Our thought is, if the crucifixion was in this area, as there are a fair number of people who think it was, that it would have been down in this area, not up on top of the hill.
Oh,
the Bible
really?
doesn't say on top of the hill. That comes from the traditional site, right, where you go up the flight of stairs up high and then you come back below. So that also fits, by the way, the Roman method of doing things. The idea wasn't put it on a hill where you can see it for miles. It was more put it close to a road where a lot of people are going to feel the pain of people that walk by. So I don't know, Charles Gordon had a thought about this place. It's north of the tabernacle. And to him, the fact that the altar of sacrifice was on the north side of the tabernacle, for him it made more sense. I don't know that that's much of an argument, but I'm telling you one of several things he thought about. There's another thing that he thought about, and others have as well, that I think maybe carries certainly some interest. So the Temple Mount is right over this direction, which is Mount Moriah. So you perhaps are aware, and I'm going to see if I can't pull this out of here. I've had it stuck away because it's just a piece of paper, and we had too much wet. There it is, right there. It's actually a drawing of his. Now let me hold it up and see if you can make sense out of this drawing. So it's a drawing that Charles Gordon actually did of Mount Moriah. And if you were to look closely at it, you'll see four numbers, four summits, in other words, four elevations. Each of those elevations is a summit of Mount Moriah. So, I mean, this is not unusual. You know, the Mount of Olives has three summits to it. And so, Mount Moriah, there's actually one to the south of where the gold dome sits on the rock today. With his identification here, he refers to the one on the south. He just has the word spring next to it. So, as in the Gihon, that spring down in that area. So that today it's the city of David, or that's what it was earlier. The second one has the word rock next to it. So that's where it's believed that, and that's why the dome of the rock sits on that rock, place where it's thought that Abraham took Isaac to offer him as a sacrifice. And the temples, both temples sat there, all the sacrifices. Then there is a third one to the north, and the fourth one he referred to as Jeremiah's knoll. Okay, the fourth one is this. So in this picture, and I might have pointed this out to you, in this picture, around the corner, so you can't see it, it's around the corner, there's another little cave called it's a traditional place called Jeremiah's grotto, where it's thought that he sat and wrote the Lamentations as he was weeping over the burning of the city and the destruction of the temple by the Babylonians. So one of the names of this outcropping is Jeremiah's knoll. But so it is the fourth of the four, so the furthest north, and also if you were to examine the numbers here, you would see that it's the highest of the four summits actually, which is why the Muslim cemetery is up on top of the hill. You got a great view of the Dome of the Rock in that area where they anticipate things to happen in the future, as perhaps do we. So this is just an interesting thing, especially from the story of Abraham and Isaac, that maybe Jesus was crucified in the area, this part of the city, if you will, outside the city, which is a critical issue, not just geographically, it fits the Bible, but I mean outside the camp, if you remember that phraseology from Hebrews, and what it means for Christ to be out in this area, where there's a cemetery, we're going to go over to the cemetery, where there's executions, the trash, the lepers, I mean, all the impurities outside the camp. Some people just think it's interesting. Perhaps he was crucified in this area. At the end of that story, you may remember in Genesis 22, Moses makes a comment. Moses is writing the story about Abraham and Isaac, and makes that comment, in the mount of the Lord. He said, we still have a saying, in the mount of the Lord, it shall be provided. So, I don't know. He may be referring to in the mount, this area. So perhaps. Now, I'm pretty sure you may be thinking I'm trying to stand here and convince you of something, and I really am not. I'm interested in the place, and it means a lot to me just to be here and to have people come and to talk about it. What is the issue? Of course, the issue, as Jesus told the woman at the well, it doesn't matter what mountain you worship in. We worship in spirit and truth. That's the issue. And so, what matters is God himself sent his only son to be the sacrifice for sin. So this hillside maybe is a reminder, even without the bridge of the nose, a reminder. Because that's an amazing thing to think about. The gods of this world, they don't do that. They don't have that much love for humanity that they would make such a sacrifice, and as God sending of his son. So